Already live. What's up, everybody? I'm excited for this live stream, but first, we got to dance a little bit. You ready, Kristin?
Yes, I am.
Here we go. It's always level up season.
Oh my gosh. I am so happy. Oh my gosh. And I'm getting emotional already.
You're so happy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Welcome, everybody. I hope this thing is working right. So Be Live just launched a dual live streaming platform where I can stream out into different places. And I'm excited because I love Be Live more than I like anything else. And so I'm excited to bring Kristin because we're going to tell her story. But before we do that, I want to give you guys a few instructions. I'm going to let Kristin introduce herself in just a minute. So the first thing is this. Let me just do a couple of things here. First thing I want to do is say welcome. What's up? Welcome to this live stream, and share this if you think that people will be encouraged by what we share here today. This is an incredible story. We're going to talk about this entire journey, not just the last 3 weeks, because I think it's important that you know the background. Just like when I talk about my own business success, I go back a little ways to show you how I got to this point of doing 100K months. And so I want to give you guys just a couple of things. So Kristin, I'm going to say goodbye to you for a second because I want to show them a couple of things. So give me 1 second. Let me do this. Perfect. All right. So there's a couple of things going on that are new to my live stream. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware that on this show, here's how you can get the show notes. So if you want show notes, just type the word show notes and it will send you to MikaBot. MikaBot is my messenger bot, and she will walk you through how to get access to all the past shows. And we have full typed up notes from each one of the shows that we've done available to you for that. So if you want that, go ahead and type show notes. I see you guys coming on in. If you don't ever want to miss one of these recordings that I do every Tuesday, then what you want to do is put hashtag reminder up. So I think it's hashtag reminder. It might be hashtag remind. Let's try this because I think we tried it last time and it didn't work. So if you do hashtag remind, what will happen is you will get notified every week that I go live so that you don't miss it. This month, I am kicking off the Believe series. Kristin is the first in the Believe series. I'm super excited to kick this off with her story. I'm going to do some panel discussions because here's the thing. People talk about their success, but they don't often talk about the behind the scenes, the decisions that had to be made, the emotional things that they had to go through, the beliefs they had to shift, the mindset they had to shift, the action that they had to take in order to create those types of results. And so I always want to be in full transparency with that. And so the Believe series is just to light a fire under you to make 2020 your best year ever, because that's what me and my clients have been doing. Despite everything that's going on, we are killing it. And I want to talk to you about, let you see not just me talking about it, because I can tell you all day long, you can do this, I can show you my results, but you're like, but that's just you, Shamika. So I'm bringing people like Kristin and some other people on to kind of share with you what this year has been like for them. So you can see the other side of the journey, not just people saying, well, this is happening, COVID-19 is happening, and we have all these issues going on, and people don't have money and all of this stuff. But what I want you to understand is people need you now more than ever. So we're going to celebrate Kristin today and her last 3 weeks. Actually, we're moving into the 4th week of her being in Play Big. So I want to tell you how to play today because I have something super exciting that I've not done before. I have done giveaways, but this is going to be new. So as you get ahas, as you get revelations, I want you to use the hashtag kaching and tell me what they are. What stood out for you? What's your takeaway? What hit home for you right now, that moment? You're going to put it in the chat area, and I'm going to do some raffles. Let me show you what I'm raffling off at the end of this live stream. Never before been released. No one has one of these yet. I've just created it. We're creating all kinds of swag. We have Game On Live coming up. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But those of you who are participating, sharing your revelations for everybody else, use the hashtag kaching. Every time you do that, you'll be entered into a drawing. And what you're going to get At the end, I'm going to pick a random winner, and you're going to get a Believe t-shirt sent to you. So someone from my team will reach out to you, and you will get one of these Believe t-shirts. And I'm also going to raffle off, boom, drum roll, a Believe mug too. Yes, I'm so excited about these. So use the hashtag Kaching, and you will be entered into the drawing for either a Believe t-shirt or a Believe mug. Got it? All right, here we go. So I'm going to bring Kristin back. I wanted to give you guys those instructions. Here we go. I'm going to bring Kristin back up here, and we're going to start this story. I'm going to call it a story. Is it okay if I call it a story, Kristin?
Yeah.
We're going to start this story. So we're going to start here. Kristin, first of all, tell the people, tell them who you are, tell them how you're serving people in the world right now.
Sure. I feel like I'm getting so emotional and we haven't even started yet. So I am Kristin Arilus. My business is Monetize Mama, and I help my clients diversify their income. I am setting up their funnels to make sure that they can make money when they're sleeping. And this kind of kicked off with me kind of getting started with Shamika and her helping me have belief in myself. And that belief helped me show up stronger for my clients to get amazing results. So that's what I love it.
I love it. I love it. I'm already wanting to celebrate you because this is a huge thing. So I am going to do that. I got my clapper ready. We are going to celebrate you. I want to celebrate you big time in the most corniest way that I possibly can.
I am really about to cry.
But I want to talk about this journey, right? How did we meet? We met last year.
I was introduced to you last year, last June. You were doing a challenge and someone else introduced me, and I ended up moving forward, like joining your Play Big, like I want to say within a week or two of me even learning about you.
Okay, so you did the Level Up Cash Creation Challenge last year in June, because we do that in June and December. Yeah, so this year we did it in April because of COVID-19. So we didn't do it in June because we wanted people to make money when everybody else was saying you couldn't make money and that you needed to slash your prices. So you met during the Level Up Cash Creation Challenge, and then you moved into sales school.
Yes.
Right? You were in sales school, and I remember you coming in, but I think the most amount of time I remember spending with you was at Game On Live, because you came to Game On Live in November of last year. And I remember you really, really wanting to do Next Level Authority. Mm-hmm. And you were just trying to figure it out and trying to figure it out. And I think we ended up settling on you staying in sales school to getting yourself to the point where you could do Next Level Authority. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this journey and these decisions that you had to make to get yourself to this point where just in the last 3 weeks, you've created more revenue than ever, and more than you created last year. Probably almost, we're working on triple that what you did last year, right?
I'm actually at triple now, which is crazy.
Okay, so here's the deal. I mean, guys, we're kind of just talking about this, and there's two things that I want you guys to do. Right now, we're about to celebrate the heck out of Kristin, but the one thing I want you to do is, as you have questions for her, pop them in the chat because we're going to answer them. The second thing is, when things are hitting for you, I see you guys typing Kaching in. It's CACHING. I'll put it up, but you got to put like what hit home for you. So my takeaway is this. She said this, and that hit me. Okay, so I'm going to put this up because I want you to just take a moment and let us do this for you, because this is huge. You're like, I'm already at 3 times what I made last year, and you just created it within a month. And so here it goes. I'm going to be the corniest Shamika I can possibly be, and I'm going to celebrate the heck out of you. Woo! Come on, guys. Let's celebrate Kristin. Congratulations, girl, on all of that. You're number one.
Yeah.
You're number one. I'm so proud of you. And not in a like, I'm so proud of you, you're such a little person that has grown, but I know what it takes to create that when you're not there yet, and to do it and to collapse time and do it in an accelerated way. And so the reason why I wanted to bring your story to the forefront to kick off this series is because I want you to talk to the women that are watching. I want you to talk to the people that are watching and share your journey.
Yeah. My journey started with, as Shamika said, I attended one of her events in November, and I remember she gave us an offer on how to move forward, and I was like so ready for it. I stood up, I was ready to move forward, and financially, it just did not work out. And then it moved into 2020 starting and me really wanting to change my life. Like, me and my husband are very open about our finances. We are working to get debt free. We made a lot of decisions when we were just getting started in our marriage that really affected us financially. And it started happening and rolling into something at the beginning of this year. And I would kind of say that I got tired of being tired, I guess you would say, of having all of these bill collectors blowing up my phone. Like, I'm waking up to missed calls because they want their money. And I decided I had to do something different. And so I had been in sales school for, I think this June made it an entire year. But I just knew that I needed to make that next level investment for me to get to where I truly wanted to be, because I could not figure it out on my own. And I realized that. And I feel like that was like the first step into like owning the fact that I can't do this myself. That was the first mindset shift that I had to change to really get to where I am today.
I love that. So if you guys are taking notes about what you need to do, the first thing I would write down is taking ownership of the fact that you can't do this yourself. I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it right now. Trying to do this alone is a rookie mistake. Only rookies do that. Anybody who is a top of their game has mentorship, coaching, whether they're athletes, actors, executives, but people who are brilliant and smart like we are, somehow we think that we can just figure it out on our own, and we can chug along and we get results. But the thing that happens when you step into deciding that you actually want a thing and that's the only other option for you, something shifts, and you have people alongside of you that can look at where you are and go, oh, here's a little tweak here and a little tweak there, because they've been there before, you know? I know recently you've done a couple of things, like you've up-leveled a couple of times inside of my containers just in the last month, right? Yeah. You're like giggling. You did a one-day intensive with me. That was a small group intensive where we up-leveled messaging. You moved directly from the end of that saying, I'm all in, I'm going to do Play Big. And then just recently in the middle of Play Big, you're like, I'm in for Next Level Authority. And we up-leveled you into that, which is crazy insane. But then like things started picking up. So I just want you to talk about like making that decision and how things transpired after you did it, each one.
Sure. I feel like I reached out to you about something, or one of us reached out to the other person, and we made the decision that I wanted to do Play Big with you, your 90-day program, but I needed to make the money so I can get into Play Big. And you said, hey, I'm doing a workshop that can help you with your messaging. Let's get started with that. And I made the decision that I wanted it to happen. And I think the day after you invited me to do the one-day intensive, I made the sale and got my seat into that intensive. And at the end of that, I was just like, it was during that call that you made me realize kind of why I've been holding myself back. And that was, we identified that I had shame around making the income that I truly desire, because I knew that it would shift the relationships I have with my friends and my family. And it was that great. I remember crying, like breaking down during that one-day intensive. And it was during that intensive that I decided, if that's what can happen in this like 6-hour container, I am ready to move forward for that 90 days. And I made that decision. And I feel like within 24, 48 hours, I made the money to get ready to make that investment to Play Big. And that was, for me, was big, because I was just like, I'm just going to figure it out and I'm going to make it happen. And I decided that when I made that investment, there was no way I was going to make the investment and half do it. Like, I was going to go all in because my family needed it. And that's kind of like where the journey started. Yeah. And it just collapsed time for me.
So I'm going to read this quote and then I want you to talk about this collapsing time, because the first sale came in and then it was like the next sale and the next sale. And I want you to talk about this journey. But I think, oftentimes we don't realize the power of decision and what that signals out into the world. It puts God on notice that, hey, here's what I'm available for. And I don't think we often, we're limbo, right? I want this, but also this over here is my present reality. And so we don't go all in. And you had a situation like that. I mean, you came to Game On Live. It took you a lot to get there, but you were there every single day with your whole entire family and you were all in, but you had to make a decision that now was not the time for you to step into that container. And who knows, you could have decided something different in that moment, but you chose what you chose and we're here now, right? But I want to read this quote by Goethe. Until one is committed, there is a hesitancy. And I'll make sure you guys hear me. Until one is committed, there is a hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. And it's this, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. And so in a paraphrase, what that says is most people don't ever accomplish their dreams because their dreams just get killed and stopped at start because they don't really commit and decide. And so I know these weren't easy decisions. I know you were going back and forth thinking about all kinds of things. Let's talk about the decision and then the first sale. What were the mindset things that were happening? What were the thought processes you were going through, the emotions you were having from the time you made your first payment in Play Big and then the second sale or the first sale? Because I know that probably seemed like an eternity, right?
Yeah. So the decision I had to make to like jump into Play Big for me was owning the fact that I've invested, like I feel like right before then, I invested in a couple of other programs, but they just were not doing what I needed them to do. And I just realized that they weren't the right containers, but I was already paying them because I committed to like what those payment plans were. And so that first decision for me, and I kind of hear it a lot with, the people I spend time with is, even though I've made these investments in other places, like it was that question, what will make this different? And I had to realize that it's me. Like, even though I made these investments in these other programs, they were not serving me or speaking to me in the way that I needed them to speak to me in that moment. And I had to make that decision that it's okay if you invest in something else that's going to get you to the results that you want. Because something may sound like, for me, it was like the other programs sounded good, but they weren't what I really needed. Mm-hmm. So that was that first decision, like owning the fact that, so what, you've invested in stuff, you spent probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in your business so far for you to still be where you are. Like I was kind of like feeling bad about the fact that I wasn't where I wanted to be. Right. And once I got over that and made that decision, I think I joined, in June sometime. And then the program started July 10th or 11th. And I made my first sale day 1 or 2 of the program. And that first sale was $9,000. So I basically made back what I would invest in this 90-day container.
Yeah. What do you contribute to that? What do you attribute to investing in the program and then boom, a $9,000 sale showing up?
I think it was really just, I think we're going to keep saying it during this whole time, was making that decision that my time is now. Like I started saying affirmations to myself, and a part of my affirmation is like, it's my season, it's my turn. Everything I touch turns to gold. And I started repeating that to myself and really believing that, because I am a believer. And I do believe that if you believe in it and you put the work for it, yeah. I believe that God could bring into the now what he may have reserved for the future for you. And me really not just thinking that, but actually believing that that could be a possibility and that could be an option for me. That was the shift. Mm-hmm. That if I believe in God to be able to do the things he do, like if I believe that he raised somebody from the dead, can I believe that he can help me have a successful business? And that was like, for me, a spiritual decision I had to make.
Yeah. There's two things you said that made me think about something. One is where you are right now, what you're talking about, this belief, right? That's anchored in when you make a decision to do something, because you actually started showing up very powerfully right after you made that investment. Like the way you showed up was completely different than I'd ever seen you show up before in this entire year. And I was over here just like, go, Kristin, go. Trying to stay off your post, like staying in the background, letting you do your thing. I don't want you to get nervous, like, oh, she's watching me. But I was like, oh my gosh, she has it. Like I could see the fire. And I think that fire was because of that decision, right? That decision that I'm just all in and it's just going to be what it is. I see so many people make a couple of mistakes, and one mistake is like grossly undercharging for the value that they bring to the table. You're brilliant at what you do. The first person you ever did this program that we put together on, basically she made her money back in 7 days. It was crazy watching her make $1,000 a day from what you put together for her. And I don't even know where she is right now. But I'm like, this girl is incredible and she has so many giftings, and yet you have been working for peanuts before. And I'm even still like, we need to raise your prices. So if any of Kristin's people are watching, you better get in right now. But you're effective at what you do. And so many people undercut their pricing because they feel like more people will buy if it's cheaper. And you've actually experienced the opposite effect. You literally have a wait list for your done for you service right now because you raised your prices like drastically, probably 3 times what you were charging before. And now you have a wait list until January and you're filling a group program. How does that make you feel when you look back at the fact that you thought if I did it for cheaper, more people would want to buy from me or I can reach more people?
To be honest, I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I think when I started off, I didn't have that belief in myself at first to like see that I can get somebody results. And so I was charging like these smaller prices. But then I realized that I can't truly give somebody my best if I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do to pay my own bills. Like I was still struggling in my own business. And once I raised my prices, it's like the energy I was using trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my own bills was now replaced by how can I like take this client's offer or her systems or funnels to the next level. Like I was able to focus more on serving them when I raised my prices.
Absolutely. And so let's talk about that. I do want to, Nicole Resnick just wrote something and I want to bring her question up because it's the second part of what I wanted to talk about, but let's talk about it because we were just talking about this. Someone told me the other day, it was last weekend, they said something like, oh my gosh, you brought in, multiple 6 figures in 90 days, like $350 something thousand in 90 days or 60 something $1,000 in 90 days. And I would just love to see your calendar because they thought my calendar would be super full and I would have no time to myself. And I'm like, I Netflix most days. I'm binge watching shows. I mean, my life is curated and designed. I'm just intentional. And so you've done some crazy things in the last 3 weeks. Like you've hired a housekeeper. You have been doing all kinds of things where you've been getting your life back. You turning off your computer at nighttime. So let's talk about this because this is another dichotomy, right? So the dichotomy is most people believe that the less they charge, the more clients they get. And then they also believe the more money you're making, the harder you have to work or the more time you have to spend in your business. What are you finding to be the truth?
The complete opposite. I work way less than I did last year. I have like set work hours. You're right. I did hire my first housekeeper. I don't know why I waited for that decision. It is lovely. I'm like I was telling Shamika before this call, I was able to like take a break, put on some workout clothes, go run and play with the kids while they were in a new little motorized car. I just got them. So like we're kind of living life and they're enjoying it. And it's a completely different thing than when I'm stuck in my computer and like was working day and night, churning out these money-making machines for clients, but I'm still not making the money that they were making. And I'm the one setting up the stuff. So that has been like a completely different shift to now me and my husband are talking about his dream car and my new dream apartment and just all of these things. Like our conversations have completely 180 from what they looked like 30 days ago.
Yeah, I love it. And your husband is overseas right now, so he's not even like really getting the full gift of seeing this entire transformation. But I can say this, the husbands love Shamika.
He's extremely happy right now. I was telling him like, I want to be his sugar mama. And so like, he's been messaging me like, hey, can you send me this? I'm like,
that's so funny. Somebody else just told me the same thing. Her husband was like, hey, I'm at the store. You're my sugar mama. Can you send me some money? It's so funny. Okay. All right. I want to go back to this Nicole statement because I think it's super important that we touch on this. And then I'm going to let you like kind of say what you want to say to people. And I'm going to ask you some questions specifically about each level of program that you've been in and just kind of talk about this journey of, you know, where you need to be and all of those things. But Nicole said this, realizing that the program or coach that you're working with does not serve you any longer. And while I don't go to that extreme, what I'm clear about is I get the resources I need, whether I'm in a program or not. I'm in 3 masterminds right now. They're all, you know, I use them all for different purposes. It's part of the reason why I grow exponentially, because I think there's something that happens when you're willing to invest at the level that you expect other people to invest, where you just expand, right? You also expect into belief. And I'm not saying go out there and, you know, buy a $10,000 program because you want people to pay you $10,000, but there's just something about your own expansion when you make these investments. So I often will hear mostly women who come to me and they're like, well, I need to finish the program I'm in before I can step into something else. And what I know is that that's not always 100% truth, because if what you were in was going to get you exactly where you're trying to go, it would be doing it already. So there usually is something that's missing. And I found that for myself. Now, that may not be the truth for everyone, but I have a powerful belief that it is. And so I invest where I need to invest. What's your perspective on that? Because you not only are you in other programs, and here's my other powerful belief. Some of y'all are investing in stuff that was never going to help you. That's the truth. You're buying courses saying you have a coach. That person is not your coach. You're in a course, right? So you're not getting the support that you need. You're not getting the connection that you need to elevate your growth in a rapid way. And you need to kind of take a step back, or you should take a step back and go, okay, what kind of support would get me where I'm trying to go? So Kristin, I just want to hear your thoughts around that.
I feel like for me, what happened was I was looking for the results and hired the people that I thought would be able to help me. And to be honest, those programs had just started around the time I invested in Play Big. I think I was less than a month or 2 in each program, and they were helping me with different things. But I realized that there was still like this major piece that was missing. And so now that I have like gotten into Play Big, it's like I've gotten all of these results. Now I can go back to those programs and I can see and understand the information a little bit differently. To now, they're like I can now use those offers or like those programs because of what Play Big has done for my business. So I feel like if I would have waited, I probably would not be where I am now, and I would have still not have been able to truly get served in those programs.
So let's talk to them. So I want to tell you, as me being an expert and authority in my space and mentoring hundreds of women to transcend any amount of revenue they've ever created in their life and to expand exponentially and learn how to collapse time. It's what I do. It's what I'm known for. What you got to be clear about when you invest is not just the tactic or the strategy that looks like it's working for everyone else, because it's not about the tactics or the strategy. But what you want to be clear about when you invest in something is what's the kind of support that I need that will get me to the next level. I also invest in programs so I can see the back end of a coach's business that I want to be like, right? If they're at the level that I want to be at, I'm like, oh, I'll pay $2,500 a month to be able to see like who's on their team and all of that stuff. I mean, that's just the way that I look at it, right? And that's some of the things that have allowed me to exponentially grow. And so you want to look at is it just coursework? How do I get to answer questions? What kind of support do I get? Because I'm a verbal processor, right? I need to verbalize my questions, not just post them. So I'm looking at, do I get an opportunity to do that? I like some level of access to the person who's actually running the program. Would I step into a program where I only got support from their coaches? Probably not. There would have to be some way for me to get get into the brain of the person who actually created the program in the first place. So I would invest at that level. These are all the kind of questions that I'm always asking before I make an investment. And then I'm looking at, do I need mentorship support or do I just need the knowledge? And here's what I want to say to most of you. You think you need to learn another thing, like how to post on social media or how to do a webinar. Y'all are learned out. You can Google most of that stuff. It's the container that you're looking for. You're looking for a container where people are doing $75,000, $100,000 in 30 days, because that's part of what's gotten Kristin these results. And we haven't talked about it, but when you step into a container where people are like, oh, I'm just laying in my bed watching Netflix and I just got another $12,000 sale, you're like, whoa, I want some of that, right? So tell me, Kristin, what are you looking at now when you look at investing? What's different for you now?
That for me, especially now with what happened and me closing that amount of money in that short period of time, money is replenishable. Yes. That's one thing. And I also noticed that every time I spend money, it's like more leads are popping up in my inbox. And so I've been like, for me, it's like making these investments or buying the things that I need. Like I can count on myself to make money now. Like I can count on myself to like, I'll be honest, I found this dream apartment that I'm in love with in San Diego. And I'm like, I can actually see myself living there because I know that I can make the money now. And so when it comes to like these investments or even how I want to live my lifestyle, it's like you have to invest at the level of where you truly want to play. And everything you just said about like when you're looking for the type of programs, like I feel like that was key, like having access to you on the calls and like being able to get my questions answered. And like sometimes how you like just coach us in like the internal beliefs. That was something that I felt was different than the other investments. The other investments are giving me the strategies, but I needed somebody that like helps me shift the way that I think and why I think the way that I think, because you kind of got me like just getting into your lowest level at in sales school. I feel like for the first couple of months, I kept coming to the calls with reasons why I couldn't make money. And your answers were so simple, like, okay, you want childcare, so raise your prices so you can pay for childcare. Or like it was just like,
you did not.
You're like, I'm like, no one has ever said it that plain to me before. And that I feel like that was a part of the shift.
I love it. I remember that. I remember you saying, I can't work because my kids are all around. I'm like, so raise your prices so you can actually work. Like put it in your prices, how you need to set your life. I do remember that. That was from the very beginning.
Yeah. And then now that COVID is here, everyone has kids at home. And I'm like, my kids aren't even a problem anymore. Like I am booking these clients and making this money and my kids are 100% here. And so it's like just a completely different thought process that I'm going through as well.
I love it. So there's some things that you said and people are hitting home on it. And it's funny, I'm listening to you. I do have this like proud mom kind of syndrome. I am a little bit older than you. I think you're the same age as my daughter, right?
I think we are.
Younger. Yeah. And so when I heard you talk, I'm like, yes, she's got it. You have it now. And the first thing is this. I'm actually going to type this up because I think it's important that you guys get this one. And that's money is a replenishable resource. Money is a replenishable resource. And often, am I writing this right? It might not be spelled right, but don't judge me. I can't see it. No, it just is what it is. Yeah, it's not spelled right, but money is a replenishable resource, right? What I want you to understand is money does not leave the planet. Money hasn't gone anywhere. And when you make decisions like the money that you have is all you're going to ever have, or you make decisions to invest in a program or not invest in a program because you're like, I I only have X amount of dollars. The signal you're sending out is I don't plan on making money. Mm-hmm. I just invested into a 6-figure program back in June. It's 6 figures a year. And I was scared. And I told him, like, that's what I said on the call is like, this is scary for me. It's super scary. That's the only thing that comes up for me. It's scary to invest at that level because my thought process is I've got to make sure that I make that every single month. Guess what's happened every single month? You guys been watching me do these 6-figure months? Not because I'm grinding and like doing it. It's like, boom, I put everything on notice and poof, right? Which leads me to the next thing that you said is that I can count on myself to make money anytime I want to. And that is my deepest desire for any client that I work with is that you begin to know that no matter where you are, whether it's COVID-19 or whatever is going on, that you can create the amount of revenue that you want. I remember last weekend on Wednesday, we did our check-in for Play Big and you were like you were at 30 something thousand dollars and you were like, I'm going to do 50K by the end of this week. And I was like, yeah, she's going to do 50K. As a matter of fact, this case study and some other posts were already written. I was already celebrating Kristin's 50K before she hit it. That's how decided she was about it. And what did you ended up doing 55,000. Right?
Yes.
And literally we're like, the sales are coming in. I'm sold out. And you did 22,000. How much did you do?
I think it was like 22.5 in like 24 hours. And it was the last day. It was like the last day of the month. Like that I was like, I want to hit this 50K month. But I kind of went through my own beliefs and emotions and feelings through that time. And I kind of like stopped making sales. And then I changed I was like, no, I said I wanted to do this. I'm going to do this. And then in the 24-hour time span, I made almost half of my monthly income in 24 hours.
I want to go back to that point where you said you stopped making sales, but I want to hit one more point that you said before that, because I want to make sure that you guys are walking away with something you can use, not just like clapping for Kristin and saying this is amazing and incredible, because it is. But I want you to leave with this realization that this whole thing, whether you do 6 figures in a month, a day, a quarter, a year, is an inside game. And you've got to be in a container and surrounded by people who are stretching themselves in the same way in this inside game. And that's really what's happening here. It's not just learning stuff, posting on social media and hoping that clients are going to show up. She's growing in her decision-making skills. These lessons are lessons that she's learned. And the last one was you talked about investing in yourself, right? So even in the middle of this, you invested again and up-leveled into next level authority. And I'll just put it out there so that you guys know, like it's a multiple 5-figure investment to do that. And she was already in a program with me. And here's what I know. I know that activates the law of circulation. Here's how the law of circulation works. Are you guys listening? Anything that doesn't circulate and move gets stale, stagnant, putrid, and nasty. You ever see standing water? Water is supposed to circulate. Water is supposed to move. That's why oceans move and lakes move and water moves. It flows. Anytime it stands still, it's putrid. The money you think you're holding on to because of your circumstances, situations, programs you've already invested in, that's the seed that you're planting that's producing the result that you currently have. Whenever I know that I need to move something, I'm either looking for something or someone to invest in. I'm going to say that again. I'm either looking for something or someone to invest in, my next level program or somebody I can coach or mentor or give. I give so much, even though I charge a lot, right? So how can I keep things circulating? So the law of circulation is important. All right. We got a lot of ka-chings and you probably have something to say, but I want to go back to this statement. You said, I stopped making sales. Mm-hmm. Because we can just say, Kristin made a decision and all the money just started falling out of the sky. She literally stopped making sales for an entire week in this process, which is why she had to make the $25,000 in 24 hours. But it speaks to how powerful decision is, because you decided it was no longer safe to make money and it dried up. So you can talk about it as much as you want to talk about it, but I want to give them some wisdom behind that lesson.
Okay. Yeah. As I say, I'm always open to sharing. I made that first 9,000 the day after the program started. And in that first week, I made like 26,000. But then I was sharing it publicly on social media, and just life started happening for me, meaning I realized that every relationship that I have, even down to my church, needed to shift and change. And I kind of went through, and Shamika made me realize it was okay to cry. Like I kind of went through this mourning process, because I realized that the higher up that I was going meant that I could no longer tolerate the things that I tolerated when I wasn't making money in my business, because I just don't have the capacity for it anymore. Mm-hmm. And so when I realized that my relationships around me were changing, I kind of like literally felt sick. Like I thought like I had a cold or something was happening. And then Shamika said something to me during one of our calls, and she said, stop holding in your tears, allow yourself to feel it and cry. And I didn't even notice until she said it that I was holding in those tears. And so like that first week I made like 26,000. And in that week that I was dealing with all of that stuff, I still made money. But it was like 6,200, I think. And then I didn't make any sales or get on any sales calls for like 6 or 7 days. And then I feel like that Wednesday, I was like, nope, I'm done. I have to make a decision. Like, I was just like, if you make this 50K, how could this change your life? And I was back at it, and I started messaging people. I got like, I think it wasn't even a lot. I think I only got like 4 sales calls on my calendar. And I closed every single one of those sales to bring in that 22,000 in that 24-hour. And then the crazy thing about it is I ended up making 6,000 the day after as well. So I'm officially at 61,000.
I love
going
it.
For a full 75,000 by this Friday.
Yes. I love how you're so decided, going for a full 75,000 by this Friday. I want you guys to understand something. You're talking to a young lady who, when she came to our live event, she was doing things to make sure she had enough gas to get home.
Oh, I totally don't mind sharing that.
Go ahead.
So my husband left for Japan in November. He left the week after Shamika's game on live. And so we decided to make it a family trip and my business trip in one, because it was our last week together. And I had to make a decision. Am I going to not go to Game On Live to spend this last week with my husband before he leaves for Japan, or am I going to go to this event? And so we decided to go as a family, but we ended up selling my husband's car because he wouldn't need it anyway in Japan, but we also needed the money to pay for the hotel. Can I say that was the nicest hotel I've ever stayed at? It was team fancy, and I loved it. My husband truly enjoyed me attending this event in a day and us spending time as a family together, him going out and hanging with the kids, but we had no money. Meaning I went grocery shopping at the local Aldi so that my family could eat in the hotel room. And after the event wrapped up, we needed money to get home for gas, because we did not realize, that was my first experience in a hotel where I had to pay it. We didn't realize all the extra taxes that happened. So I had just enough to pay for that. And so we needed gas to get back home. And we did one of those tour things they do at the hotel, where you take the timeshare tour and they give you a $25 or $30 gift card. And we went on the tour. We got our little gift card and filled up the gas tank and drove our way back home. And it was in that decision, I was just I am tired of this. But it still took me time to get to kind of where I am now.
Yeah. I remembered going to an event in Florida. I'm about to get emotional even thinking about it, because I made decisions like that often because I was tired and I wanted my life to expand. And I remember having enough money for the flight, and I went to the event to support someone, and they were also going to pay me for being there. But when I got there, I only had enough money on my credit card for one room night. So luckily, they allowed me to charge that one room night, and they said, we'll just charge the other ones when the night comes. I don't even know how the money came in, but I ended up making enough money. But I also remember not having enough money for food. And so there was one night, it was so rough. I literally went downstairs and grabbed like crackers and the peanut butter that they had on like out for people to put with their soup and stuff. And that was what I ate for dinner. And I snapped a picture of it because in that moment, I remember telling myself that I don't ever want to be here again. Like, I don't want this to be my reality. And so, you know, I highlight people like you because I seem like I'm so far away from some of those decisions. And, you know, people think it's easy to decide to go for what's on the other side, but often it looks like making decisions like those, right? Mm-hmm. And so I thank you for being open enough to share because you're pretty close to those types of decisions, but your life right now is completely almost unrecognizable.
Yeah.
You know, we are about to be 30 days into your decision to up level into Play Big. We're a couple of weeks out, a week or so out of your decision to up level into Next Level Authority. And this week, you will be closing out at least $75,000 in a 30-day time period. Mm-hmm. What do you want to say to people?
That it's not an easy decision. And once you make that decision, you have to go all in. Like, I realized I had to eliminate any kind of escape plans that I had in place, meaning we survived on just my husband's income because my business was not generating money. So I kind of got comfortable with the fact that we could pay our bills with his money. But with everything happening and just bills and things like that, I had to make a decision that I can no longer play it safe. And so I would say to anyone that's listening that it's not going to be an easy decision, and it's going to require you to be surrounded with people who's going to support you. Because when I made this decision and started even making this decision to invest and the amount that I invested in, if you don't have the right people around you, they make you doubt your decision, which could slow down your process. So I feel like when I made the decision, I don't share the stuff that I share now, like with the Play Big crew, like our little circle of 12 or 13 of us. I could share things with them that I cannot share with not anyone else in my life right now because they don't get it. They don't see the vision that I have for myself and my business and my family and my legacy. And so I know that was like a whole lot wrapped in one. So I would say making a decision is going to be hard, but make sure that you investing in that community of people that you need to support you and talk to them about it. You don't have to talk to everyone else. Because they will make you doubt yourself. And that's what happened when I stopped making sales that week. Like, the fact that I was bringing in this money and people are saying, oh, well, you know, make sure you save some because you don't know if you'll be able to do that again, or you don't know if you'll be able to replicate that.
Yes.
And having them say that to me, like, I had to go through this whole mind game of, okay, that's just not somebody. Like, I kind of made certain conversations off limits with certain people. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm starting to realize. Like, it's just certain things I don't talk to people about because I know that they're not at the mindset that I'm at. Mm-hmm. And they have a problem because they would never make that type of decision. But that doesn't mean anything is wrong with me.
Yeah. So I have this revelation that I'm having right now in this moment. You're going to hit 6 figures this year.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm having that.
Yeah,
I'm having this revelation in the moment as we're talking. You're going to hit 6 figures this year. What is that like?
When you said that, my hands started shaking. It feels amazing because I shared in our community. I went from negative 20,000 my first year in business to my second year in business. I think I was at like 8,500. Last year, for the entire year, I made like right under 20,000. I was like at 19,000. And with life happening and everything, the first 6 months of 2020, I think I generated maybe $9,000. But now, from the decision I made in July and the clients I closed in July, those payment plans are more than their 5-figure payment plans for the rest of the next 5 months. And that's not even including what I plan on doing this month. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's like to just know that and know that that money is coming, and to know that I could count, like it's just crazy. I can count on myself to make the money that I want to make. Like I can start doing the things that, and I'm sure all of us who have these servant hearts, I can start doing the things that I want to do. Mm-hmm. And so knowing that 6 figures, like my goal is it for it to be this month. Like that's just, I'm gonna put that out there right now, that knowing that that's going to happen for me, I'm just like in awe, but I also know it's only the beginning, because I know that God had to have me go through this process so that I wouldn't scare myself out of what he wants for my life. And so it's like all of this, like, I feel like I'm being wrapped up in like these warm arms of just this community and this faith and belief in myself that I never had before now.
I love it. I'm sitting here thinking, and we're going to wrap this up. I can talk to you all day about this because it's so good, right? It's the stuff we don't talk about. People just want to position their programs and not really talk about like the journey to get there. You had a breakdown in the middle of a breakthrough. Like you literally were selling and selling and selling, and then you stopped because outside influences started making you feel like something was wrong. And it all dried up, and you came to a new point of decision where you had to decide something different, that I'm going to keep going. And then boom, you opened up the wells again. And for a lot of people, and I'm going to actually look at everybody and say, for a lot of you, when those breakdowns come, you actually stop. You don't push through. You take it as that must be a sign I need to slow down, as opposed to realizing that resistance is actually the catalyst for what's going to get you to the next level. Mm-hmm. And so I'm listening to you, and I'm remembering, and I'm sad that we don't get to do Game On Live. We're going to do Game On Live, guys. We're going to do it virtually. It's going to be amazing and incredible. We're going to create a 4D experience for you, so that you can't even tell that you're not there live. But I'm thinking about you sitting in the seats and watching the other women who are winning awards and on the panels. And I'm wondering, because I'm thinking right now, like you're about to get an award. You're probably, you're going to get an award. You're most likely going to be on a panel discussion too. What is that like for you?
I remember sitting at Game On Live last year, and Audria got on stage, and I absolutely fell in love with her. And I was like, I want to be there next year. And it's just, it's crazy to like know that for so long you always have these dreams or these visions of what you want your life to look like, but because you don't take the actions, they don't happen. But then when you make that decision that this is like what you want, and it starts actually happening for you, mm-hmm. It's like this feeling of, if I want it, I can get it. And just knowing that the journey is not going to be easy, but I would rather it be a hard journey going in the direction of the life I want than a hard journey staying where I was.
Say that again.
Look, I'm dropping bombs. I don't know what I said. I think I said, I would rather this journey be hard going in the direction of the life that I want and desire for myself than to stay stuck in where I was.
I love it. I love it. And that's a tough decision to make, right? Mm-hmm. We think that it's got to be like super easy, and it does. Like on the one hand, you're in flow and it is incredibly easy. Like you're breathing and clients are showing up because you've embodied this so much. And it's super fun to watch. It's fun to watch you celebrate your wins. It's fun to watch you change your lifestyle and what you think it needs to be. My most fun part of watching you is watching you turn off your computer at night and not feel like you have to work 24/7 and put boundaries up. And it's incredible to watch. I don't know. I get so much joy in watching this journey and many journeys like yours. And I just want to say, if you're watching this and you're thinking, how can I get to this point? I want to tell you my key would be, it takes a decision. right? It takes a decision. You decide to burn the ships. You decide that this is what you're going to do. You decide that there is no other result other than the result that you desire to create. And you move everything, all of your action, all of your intention into the trust and the belief of that. Mm-hmm. And decision means to cut off all else. So if you were to tell people one thing that would help create the results they want or move them in the right direction, what would you tell them?
Be open to taking calculated risk. I feel like sometimes we're okay with taking a risk, or we may be completely scared. I feel like one of the things that kind of stopped me at the beginning is the people around me are everything needs to be figured out before they take a step. But I'm like the one, I just jump in, even if I don't know how to swim yet. And like, I kind of let other people keep me like held back a little bit. And for me, it was making that calculated risk that I'm willing to take this step to get the life that I desire, and realizing that the only person whose feelings that I should care about is mine. I used to care about how other people, and that's where the shame for me was. I used to care about how other people would feel if I was making money, or if I was doing this, or if I lived this lifestyle. Even I'll be honest, unless my mom or people in my family watch this video, this video is them finding out that I have a housekeeper, because it's on a need to know basis, because I knew that they would have a problem with it. But I'm like, it's what I need for me to live the life that I want. And kind of speaking this into existence, for me to hit these 100K months, I don't want to be cleaning my own toilets. And so knowing that,
we don't do that, boo.
Knowing that, it's like you have to be willing to take calculated risks. And when I say calculated, it's okay if you don't know what's going to happen after that investment or after taking that next step, because it's not meant for you to know. The person that you're paying or investing in to help take you and walk you through that process, they have it figured out. It's just you have to not hold yourself back and make the decision that, hey, I'm going to take this one step at a time. I kind of feel like in business, sometimes we feel like we need to have the whole plan mapped out, but we don't even have our lives, like our regular lives, mapped out. God didn't do that, because I feel like if you would have told me that this is where I would have been a year ago, I probably would have unintentionally sabotaged myself, because it would have been fearful for that to even be a possibility. Even now, when I started the program, the 75K was my quarter goal. And that first week, my goal was 3,000. And so I was like, to knock out the 3,000 goal by selling something for 9,000 and the payment was 3,000. Yeah. It was just like that risk that I was able to take or ready to take. I didn't know what it would look like on the other side, but I knew I didn't like where I was standing.
I love it. I hope you guys caught that. Her 75,000 that she's about to hit this week was her goal for 3 months. It was her quarter goal. It was her 12-week goal. She's about to smash it. What we didn't do is raise her goal, because I want her to smash it. I want her to feel the smashing it. I don't want her to stretch herself so that now she feels like she's behind. I want her to blow that goal out of the water so that she can anchor in the fact that she can do this. So I'm super excited for you. I'm going to celebrate you one more time with my number one. So proud of you, Kristin. I'm excited for you. I know that this year is going to be incredibly amazing, and all the women that get to work with you are going to get to experience that. We're going to do this live stream. We're going to do this live stream. We're going to do these raffles real quick. So I'm going to put this stuff up. Kristin, thank you so much for being so open. We're going to start with the Believe mug. We're going to start with the Believe mug, and the Believe mug is going to it is going to Jerica Lockwood. Jerica Lockwood. The Believe mug is yours. So all you have to do is reach out to me in Messenger, and my team is going to connect with you and get your address so that we can send it to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right. Second thing, t-shirt. We still got ka-chings coming in. Ka-ching, 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 dropping bombs. All right. Here we go. And the winner of the Believe t-shirt is Stephanie Wallace. Yay! So Stephanie Wallace, you are getting a Believe t-shirt. Jerica Lockwood, Stephanie, you are getting the first ever Believe t-shirt. Jerica Lockwood, you are getting a Believe mug. Kristin Arilus is actually the first person to ever get a Believe mug. She's getting hers for bragging rights for being the one who sold the most in the week where we had a contest. Super excited about that. So make sure you reach out to me so that we can get those sent out to you. Again, guys, if you are, hold on, let me pull these down so Kristin can get that off her face. Again, guys, if you want to make sure that you get the show notes from this show and other shows that we do, just type show notes in the comments and that will send you on a journey to get access to those. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Kristin. I am so excited for the next year and the journey that we get to spend together and what you are going to create, because we are creating your new normal. We're creating a new normal. If you're wondering what it would take to work with me, I'm not really going to make an offer on this live stream, but you can feel free to reach out to me. What I am doing is we are going to go ahead and do Game On Live because I want to make this experience of learning how to expand your capacity to receive and collapse time available to as many people as possible. So we're going to do Game On Live virtually this year. It's going to be incredible. Like I said, we're going to make it a 4D experience. So you won't be just sitting in front of a computer watching me teach like this. It's going to be incredible and amazing. So keep your eyes peeled out because we are going to start releasing the details for how you can get access to the Game On Live experience that is coming up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, Kristin. Thank you one more time just for being so open and honest. And I'm celebrating with you every step of the way. Let's smash 2020 like nobody's business. All right, guys, we'll see you later. Bye.